thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Healing with Becca, the 5 stages of grief. Today we will be speaking on the fourth stage of grief, which is bargaining. Bargaining is defined as negotiating terms and conditions of a transaction, or as we all know it the most to be, to make yourself comfortable in a place where you have expressed an issue and or problem, but made peace with moving on. So I have my friend here with me today. Hey friend, tell the people who you are.
Hey, Brandon. I'm Jasmine, her friend. We go back a little ways, few years in this thing. And we both been through some shit. So let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So we've experienced grief from the everyday life to like physically losing someone.
Right.
So I know for me, I will bargain to keep someone in the physical world. What do I have to give up, God, in order for such and such to be here? I want you guys to see me reach my goal. I will give up anything to keep anyone in the physical world, which is crazy because we all know at some point we're going to have to skedaddle and get up out of here because this ain't forever. So, what would you say you would bargain the most for? Losing someone in the physical world or still seeing that person and being able to feasibly speak with them, but the terms that you guys are on, y'all can't talk.
I mean, do I want them to still be in this world? Of course. Can I handle, are you saying, can I handle seeing somebody on the street or something, but never being able to speak to them again?
Right. So like we all have like little fallouts, whatever. And like those are relationships that you also have to grieve the loss of.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that they don't acknowledge that. They realize it, they just don't acknowledge it.
Right.
So I'd rather just lose someone in the physical being. Like go ahead, I'm good. I don't have to speak to you ever again. Then for me to be okay with you are no longer here in the world. I just have your spirit and your story to move off of. I would give anything to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So which one would you say that it's like, what would you grieve harder with bargaining when it comes to giving something up to have what you really want?
I mean, if I really want it, then there's always going to be some give and take no matter what. So, and it was very hard for me to grasp as a child that there were good and bad consequences because I always understood the word consequences to be a bad word. Like, you're in trouble, you're going to suffer the consequences. And then my mom's like, no, there's good consequences. No, there ain't. No. No, there isn't. What are you talking about? Like, it's uncomfortable to hear good and consequences together. So I feel like sometimes it's hard, but the consequences in the end can be good, even if it means you can't talk to that person. You just know that they're okay and they're good, and you have those memories and that love for them.
Right.
Or not.
What would you, so, okay, I'm getting a little stumped because this is like my biggest thing. Like, I'm one of those people, I'll give up this if I can have this. I'll give up this if I can have this. So for me, I'm like, I'll stop being out here in these streets, Jesus. I will cut out all the bullshit. Excuse me, 'cause I'm a cussing Christian, honey. I will cut out all the bullshit if you hold me down just this one time, Jesus. So what would you bargain? Because I know without a doubt, when I've lost some of the most influential people in my life, I would have given up my time. Like, damn, I could have did this. This is still here, but they're not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, that's just back to when um me, you, and Donovan had our falling out years ago. Like, it was like stupid. What was it even over? Ask me now, no idea. But I didn't talk to y'all for how many years? Like, to not even remember why now, I would have given up everything. Because what was the point? What was the purpose? And then I was alone. Like, like what was so? Yeah, it was. I can't think of like specifically. Yeah, I would have given up time. I would have given up. Oh my God, the energy I spent with my ancient ass ex. Like, that's it was. What was the we're not gonna act like that relationship bared any good fruit. So
The energy for me, that hit the energy. We don't realize how much energy we put into such minuscule things.
how much energy you take into not talking to somebody.
You just hit something. Like, when you're not speaking to someone that you genuinely care for, you have to remind yourself
Yep.
to not reach out. Like, and I was just talking about that today. Like, it's so difficult breaking normal habit. Like, why is why do you feel uncomfortable and weird when you do something out of the ordinary? But I guess that all comes with being comfortable with being uncomfortable. We have those conversations all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely, yeah, it's the energy. The energy for me. So one circumstance, if you could choose one circumstance that you would say sits with you, that you had to make the conscious decision to grieve and move forward from, how would you acknowledge that you were willing to lose that circumstance to gain a W? Because some circumstances be L's, you feel me?
Oh
And you
yeah.
want to turn that L and put this down and bring these two up for that W, that win-win. You know?
Oh well, for me, it took me a long time to realize that I never stopped. I never paused. I never took a moment. I made very drastic and irrational decisions. Um, Thinking that it would save my relationship, and it didn't. And thank God, it didn't need to be saved. And I thought like things would work and they'd be good for a while, and it gave me the motivation to keep going, but it will just crumble again. So in the long run, I had to learn that as painful as it was losing an abusive relationship, which is crazy to say now, but hindsight is always 2020. So I went back and forth so much. And just to feel like I lost for a long time, then I'm like, lost what? What did you lose? Yeah, you lost. You lost a lot of pain, heartache, drama, BS. Like, so yeah, you lost, but you lost everything you needed to lose.
How did you
So in the
respond to
end, I
that thought
won.
pattern? Well, that part, but you got to reach that finish line to get to that mindset of, in the end, I won though. So how
Mm-hmm.
did you respond to that thought pattern in the midst of the circumstance?
I didn't. They're in the midst of the circumstance. I didn't. Like I said, I never took a moment. I never stopped. So I always thought, even when I was out of that situation, I wasn't with him anymore. I felt like I had lost because, we had an apartment and I got a dog, now I'm back at my mom's house and I don't have a car and I'm trying to figure out how to get to work every day. And So I won because I wasn't in that relationship. I wasn't in that situation, but I couldn't see that doing what I was doing, and I wasn't gonna stop to see that because I had to get stuff handled. I had to get stuff done. So in
Keep it
the
pushing.
midst of it, I didn't. So like that's why I said it took a long time until I was even past that point to realize like, okay, that's that point in time was still a win,
Mm.
even though you felt like you were struggling like hell.
So I know for me, like you just keep going. Like you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you don't stop. So you don't take a second to acknowledge how you feel. But when you're forced to take a second, that's when it hits. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I'm here and I'm big emotional and I'm big mad, but I'm gonna be good. Whereas me, as soon as it hit, I'm there. Just be, we got a problem. And I'm here, all the way here. I'm feeling it all the way through and through. And it's like, I know for myself, I step with any emotion rather than processing and hitting facts first.
Oh, story of my life.
And it's like, but the things I used to say, like, I was like, at one point, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be so in tune with my emotions too, is where I can't ignore them. I
Mhm.
don't want to, like, if I could give up feeling for the rest of my life, I would. I would. And then I went numb. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
I went numb. I could not acknowledge anything I was feeling. And I had no longer stepped
When
into
it turns
emotion,
to
but
the
just
other.
into the bag because I was working the whole time. Overtime, 16-hour shifts, didn't care. I'm gonna be
Yep.
here.
You didn't have the time to stop.
Yeah. I literally could not afford it. And I needed that paycheck. I'm working. So it it's really crazy how like you're like the complete opposite. You step outside of emotion and you just get to it. Get to it. And then when you're forced to take a second, it stops. And you're like, okay, guys,
Now it's
plain
3
Jane.
a.m. and I'm crying with my
Right.
chihuahua and he's licking my
Right. Like,
face. And
okay, guys. So I guess for me, I was so willing to give up every part of myself to make whatever I wanted in that moment, whether it been my uncle, whether it been my relationship, whether it been a relationship with my mom, a relationship with my siblings. I was willing to give up everything about myself that made me, that made these people love me for who I was.
right.
And like, this is my thought pattern now, like that wasn't my thought pattern then. Like, there was no loving me for who I was. I felt like I needed to be different
Hmm.
because that wasn't it. So, how has your thought pattern shifted since being able to acknowledge that you put the bag before you put your emotions? That's one. Because we as Black women have a problem with that. I'm going to just sidebar real quick. We as Black women forever got to be strong. And you said it. I'm tired of this. Always got to be strong. Always got to be forgiving. Why can't we have a moment? And it's crazy because now talking to you, I'm realizing you were just talking about yourself, right?
We always are. Yeah.
So how has your thought pattern shifted from then until now? Because like I see the difference. Like I mentioned you in my video about Anchor. And I said I missed my friend for 3 years and I was going through so many things and I lost so many things and I just wanted my friend.
Hmm.
3 years we cannot get back. Okay.
You're
But
absolutely right.
3 years I wouldn't change for a thing in the world because we wouldn't be here.
No, I agree.
I'm not gonna cry because I beat my face. Bye.
I don't know why you keep trying to make both of us cry. You know
No,
we
no,
some
no. This it's a part of healing, bro.
sympathy criers.
Look, you gotta
You
turn
start
your
crying, I'm start crying.
it's a part of healing. It's really a part of
Of
healing. Like at one point I was told I have to heal by myself. At one point I was told I need a
course.
support group. At
That's
one
what they
point I was
always
told
tell
I
you.
need AA. Listen, that's besides the point. But but it's all a part of healing. And I learned through you the things I'm willing to give up for myself will always be more worth it than the things that I'm willing to give up for other people.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm gonna stop
Because
talking
nobody's gonna
and
appreciate it more than you.
right,
And they not saying that they won't appreciate it if you do something for them. They can be the most thankful and gracious person ever, but it doesn't matter, especially when you probably needed to do something for yourself more than you needed to do something for them. You
right.
and me have that horrible habit of, oh, I have $2. You got $1? Yeah, here. Like, why are you giving $1 when you only have $2? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you, friend,
I appreciate
and
you.
I love the conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Healing with Becca. Take a second and think about what you would have been willing to give up because I think that show was not worth it. But like, I'm not saying find a house and just pay whatever they want up front. No, no, no. Go ahead and bargain that bitch down, okay?
Mhm.
But when it comes to your healing and your emotion, bargaining has, like Jasmine said, good consequences and bad consequences. We just have to do right by ourselves. Thank you for joining us and thank you for healing with us. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.